How might your thyroid function affect your menopausal symptoms? My name's Laura de la Harpe and I'm a nutritionist. It's quite interesting in that a lot of the symptoms that occur in women post-menopausally are also very similar symptoms to having a low thyroid function. For example, depression, memory loss, cognitive impairment, neuromuscular complaints, bone issues, cardiovascular health can all be seen with hypothyroidism and also seen in postmenopausal women. So what you've got is kind of a double whammy. So the underactive or untreated thyroid disease might further exacerbate your postmenopausal symptoms. So I think it's really important for women to get their thyroids checked around this time, because whilst you might be diagnosed at a clinical level, about 2.4% of women have got the clinical disease, there's another 23% of women that have got what we call subclinical thyroid disease. In other words, they might not be medicated by the NHS, but they actually do need some support of their thyroid, particularly around bone health. So if you found that interesting, and if you're someone who's in that category, I'd love to know what your experiences were. And if you know someone who might be in this situation, why not share this post with them?
Does thyroid regulate bone density?
So you've got behind the thyroid gland, you've got something called the parathyroid gland. Mm-hmm. They're like 4 little grains of rice, so really tiny. And they determine how much calcium is in your bloodstream and how much is in your bones. So if they aren't working efficiently, then yes, you might have an issue with bone from that perspective. But equally, if you're someone who's hyperthyroid, in other words, you're running fast, you also might be racing through your bone turnover might be faster.
Right.
And so therefore you're not building it as fast as you're burning it.
Okay.
Because you've got osteoclasts and osteoblasts in your bones, and they are heavily reliant on what the thyroid does, but they're also reliant on what estrogen does. So one lot builds bone and the other one breaks it down. So we expect, all of us, we're turning over everything in 7 years roughly, aren't we? But it's the rate of the building versus the breaking down that can go wrong postmenopausally.